Boom! Greetings from YouTubeville. Once again, Danny Savage. Coming at you. Let's see. Let's look around. By far the best beers on YouTube. All right, listen, we've dropped 500 players already since May. I've already dug a little bit into the HBCU universities. I only done, I think, 10 players from the HBCU. But only doing 10 players from the HBCU. Hold on a second. My ears are messed up. My left ear is messed up. So only digging diving for 10 players, that's just not an injustice. So I got about 75 to 100 more HBCU players that I'm going to drop for you. That should put us around 600. I already dropped like 10, but nah, So this segment, we got a long time to the NFL draft. And also, if you like the channel, sub and subscribe. It don't cost a dime. We have a long time till the draft comes, and I want to make sure, you'd be shocked how much talent still comes out of the HBCU, but nobody gives it any love. Nobody talks about it. It's ironic how not one person who thinks they're gurus out of the fun bunch, they never cover the HBCU. But it takes an Italian kid from the city to cover the HBCU. Going strong, guys. Keep going strong, man. You're showing your true colors. Snake oil salesman, all of you. First one's Aaron Smith, linebacker, South Carolina State, 6'2", 220. 53 tackles, 4 tacks for a loss, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception. This kid's a tweener in the NFL. This kid is going to be considered a tweener. There's going to be some scout sitting in a room, and he's going to say, okay, let's see if he's athletic enough to throw him back to safety, or do we have to put 20 pounds on him and let him play linebacker? That's a decision he's going to have to make. That's the decision his team's going to have to make. When I say his team, I mean like his, the people around him. What's in his best interest? Because what is Travis Frederick Company? Boom. Thanks for jumping in the chat. Because you have to look at what's in your own best interest, because what good is, hypothetically, the Green Bay Packers draft you or not draft you? They take you when you're an undrafted free agent. They want you to gain 20 pounds. You gain the 20 pounds, and it doesn't help you. Now they discard you. Now you're right back to zero. Now you got to drop that 20 and see with another team you can fit in. That's what I'm saying. You got to speak to your own team. What's in the best of your interests, not the team's interests, unless you made the 53-man roster. If you made the 53-man roster and they want you to put on 20 pounds, triple peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all night before you go to bed. But if you haven't and they want to make you gain 40 pounds, say, how do I know you're going to sign me? You might throw me to the corner. And then what? I'm stuck for, I got to start back at zero. So he has to speak with his people around him and see what's in his best interest. If the teams view him as a safety, or if teams view him as a linebacker. My personal opinion is, from a safety point of view, he can come down and lay the pipe inside. He's not afraid of that. I think he can survive in coverage. I don't think he's going to be a pass liability, but that's my 2 cents. And what do I know? All right. Next kid is the kid Karen Prunty, North Carolina A&T. Cornerback, 6'2", 215. Nice size. I told you, I've said it once, I've said it again. I like my corners tall. All right, I can't see what these things are. Hold on a second. Oh, what's up, Uncensored Cowboy? What's up for jumping in the chat, man? Thank you. First time coming here. Thank you live. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, Karen Prunty, North Carolina A&T, cornerback. He's 6'2", 175. So he has to gain muscle. But like I said, I like my corners tall. I don't like them too tall. Once you get a cornerback that's like 6'3", 6'4", they're just goofy as fuck. Excuse my language, man. They're just goofy as hell, like in the backfield trying to cover these smaller wide receivers. Now, I'm not saying all these wide receivers are small, but they just start to look goofy with stiff hips. Once you get a corner that's like 6'4"-ish, I don't like that. Now, this kid started at South Carolina, then he went to Kansas, then he went to North Carolina A&T. So listen, man, that's how the college landscape is today. He had 24 tackles, 4 for loss, and 1 interception. So like I said, this kid he did at least have Power 5, schools interested in him. But unfortunately, the landscape we live in, listen, I'm not lying to you people. Following the transfer portal should be a job in itself. And it just opened up like last week for a short period of time. And a million people have jumped in and transfers. That's why I'm going to be like a little bit honest with you. Tonight starts bowl season. Be very, very, very careful because the teams you saw for the last 10 weeks, 12 weeks are not going to be the same. Wink, wink. They're not going to be the same teams that you're going to see for the next 2 weeks during bowl season. Come college playoffs, yeah, you're going to see the same teams. But you have no idea how many players season ended, boom, jumped in the transfer portal. So now you got third string starters now during bowl season. Bowl season is not like it was years before. So, like I said, wink, wink, on another platform, be very, very careful on which way you want to go with bowl season. If you want to throw a couple ducats on there or not, it's not the same teams you've seen. Players have left, even coaches have left. Next kid is the kid of Rick Hunter, Morgan State, 6', 210. Yo, this kid has a story, man. 2022, 80 tackles. 2023, 80 tackle season. 2024, he got hurt. He has one tackle. So this is more of a projection kid that can make your team under. He's not a draft pick. None of these guys are. None of them are. But you have to realize there's 32 teams in the NFL, and every one of them carry like 17 to 20 dudes on the practice squad. That's why I'm doing 800 people. And other people will throw you out 200. I can do 200 in my sleep, man. Come on, stop. So this kid, Eric Hunter, man, it's also possible the NCAA throws him another year as a redshirt. I don't know. That's a possibility too. Or he might just say, screw it, let me take my chances in, the NFL. Because I can't see an NIL deal at Morgan State being a lot. That's just my 2 cents. So as of now, we're at 5:03, and for the next 2 weeks, we're going to be doing HBCU every single day, probably the next 2 to 3 weeks. There's so much time left in football. Also, Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, you got to check out the Frisco Report. That's Joe Rod and Mike. Saturday night, you got Cowboys Corner talking crazy. You got Fifth Quarter Cowboy. He comes on Monday nights and then Friday nights. We got Cowboys Champ. We got Cowboys Fiend, OG himself. I'm sorry Trey Lance is never seeing the season this year. I wish he would because Dallas sucks, and I want them to lose the next 4 games this year. Don't hate me. I'm a Cowboy fan, but if we lose the next 4 games, we're not going to the playoffs, so why not lose the next 4 games? 4 games. It's a business strategy, people. People say, oh, that's how cowards do. They cowards tank. I guess you never owned a business and declared bankruptcy, then started again the next day. It's a tool, people, a tool. Think outside the box. We got 1980s Cowboys. He's always going to tell you, you might not like the truth, but he's going to tell you the truth. And then we got Ishan, Hollywood's newest up-and-coming producer in Hollywood, Paladonian Films Production. But tonight, learn something, people. Learn something. In about a half hour, James Madison is going up against Western Kentucky. Last year, this past April, I wasn't a giant fan of him at all, even though this guy was the kiss of death to draft prospects. This is the kiss of death to draft prospects. Last year, Malachi Coley, where did he come out of? Western Kentucky. Watch bowl games, people. It starts at 5:30. James Madison versus Western Kentucky. You could always, and then you could also find your next year's stars, because we all know when you're rocking with the GWO, it's for life. Over and out. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in the chat.